I found the messages at 2:47 a.m. $847,000. The amount my husband thought I was worth. He planned to take it all and marry her. Then my closest friend betrayed me for $50,000. My mother died, and my rival was trying to destroy my company. His mistress, a professional con artist who had done the same thing 3 times before, but they made a mistake. They thought grief had weakened me. Instead, it made me dangerous. 1 year later, my husband is in prison, his mistress faces federal charges, my traitor friend has disappeared, and my company is worth $20 million. To avoid what I went through, to see the true faces of the people in your life, pay attention to my real-life story, or you may find yourself helpless when it happens to you. Here's how I ruined them all. 10 years ago, I had $300 and a business idea, a digital marketing agency. I worked in a cafe, 14 hours a day. Client meetings at 6 a.m., cold calls until midnight. My income in the first year, $48,000. I ate ramen. I slept 4 hours. I gave presentations to companies that laughed at me. You're too young, you're too inexperienced, you're too much of a woman. Second year, $190,000 in income. I hired my first employee. Kara, she became my best friend. Actually, my only friend. Fifth year, $2.1 million. Last year, $8.4 million. I built a team. I bought office space. Marcus, he came into my life in the 4th year, attractive, supportive. He worked in finance, made good money, but couldn't even come close to what I was making. I didn't care. He seemed proud of me. He told everyone about his perfect wife. He came to my events. He celebrated my successes. We got married in the 6th year. A simple ceremony. I was too busy for big weddings. He understood. He always understood. At least, that's what I thought. Now at 3:08 a.m., I was sitting on the bathroom floor. The tiles felt cold through my pajamas. I took out my phone. Our joint account, $1.2 million. My business account, $847,000. My investment portfolio, $3.6 million. Everything was in my name, legally mine. But Marcus had access to the business account. I had given it to him last year. For emergencies, I had said. In case something happens to me. He had kissed my forehead. I had called him paranoid but practical. I opened my laptop. I started researching. Bank statements, credit cards, I had the passwords, we shared everything. Couples therapy had told us transparency builds trust. I found the spending, hotels, restaurants, jewelers, all within the last 8 months. Individually, the amounts made sense. $200 here, $350 there, but all together, over $40,000, my money. He was financing his affair. I traced that woman, Victoria, from his messages. Real estate agent, divorced, 2 kids. I'm finally ready for a relationship, Marcus had told her. I'm just waiting for my investment to come through. Investment. He meant me. He meant my company. The plan was simple. Marcus would slowly transfer the money from the business account. He would explain it as business expenses. He would move the money through shell accounts. By the time I noticed, he would be long gone. He had already consulted a lawyer. I found the emails. They were discussing post-marital agreements, how to minimize their losses, how to maximize their gains. Victoria knew. She had helped with the planning. The messages proved it. Guarantee at least half. You've supported his career for years. Supported? I almost laughed. She hadn't supported anything. She attended the dinner parties. She smiled for the photos. But support? While I was building my empire, she was watching Netflix and complaining about commuting to work. I needed proof. Real proof, court-admissible proof. I created a secret folder, screenshots, PDF files, transaction records. I backed everything up on 3 separate drives, then I erased my history. I put his phone back. I went to bed. I lay down next to him. I watched him sleep. Morning came. Marcus woke up at 7:15 a.m. as usual. He kissed my cheek. Did you sleep well, baby? I smiled. Like a baby. He took a shower. I made coffee. We went through our usual routine. He left for work at 8:30. I waited until 8:45. Then I called my lawyer. Sarah Chen's office. I need to see Sarah today. It's urgent. At 10 a.m., I was sitting in Sarah's conference room. She had been handling my employment contracts for 6 years. She was smart. She was ruthless when she needed to be. I showed her everything. She didn't even blink. How do you want to proceed? I want to eliminate him. She nodded. First, let's protect your assets today. We spent 4 hours building walls, separate accounts, new business structures, LLC protection, trust funds. By 2 p.m., Marcus legally couldn't touch anything. The business account stayed open. Bait, I'd watch what he tried. But I needed more than legal protection. I needed to understand his game completely, know every move before he made it. So I hired someone, private. Investigator, ex-FBI. She cost $15,000 up front, worth every cent. Her name was Rachel. She started immediately. By day 3, she had photos. Marcus and Victoria at lunch, holding hands, kissing in parking lots, more meetings with lawyers. He'd already filed preliminary divorce papers. Hadn't served me yet, waiting for the money transfer first. Smart, almost. I went to work every day, smiled at meetings, closed deals. My company landed a $2.3 million contract that week, biggest client yet. I celebrated with my team. Marcus took me to dinner that Friday, expensive restaurant. He ordered champagne. So proud of you, he said. His hand covered mine. You've worked so hard for this. I wanted to throw the champagne in his face. Instead, I smiled. We've worked hard, team effort. He squeezed my hand, lied with his eyes. I lied back with mine. That night, I told Kara everything. We sat in my office after everyone left. I showed her the messages, the evidence. She went pale. That bastard. She grabbed my hand. What do you need? I'm here, whatever you need. I believed her. That was my first mistake. Week 2 of my investigation. Rachel discovered Victoria's timeline. She targeted Marcus deliberately, found him through social media, researched me, my company, my worth. She slid into his DMs 6 months ago with a real estate pitch. Investment properties for you and your wife. But the properties were foreplay. She'd done this before, twice. 2 previous relationships with wealthy men. Both ended in settlements. She was a professional. Marcus thought he was the player. He was the mark. We both were, but Marcus's ego wouldn't let him see it. He believed Victoria loved him, believed he'd masterminded this scheme. Rachel found his journal, actual physical journal, hidden in his gym locker, pages of planning, how he'd finally escape from under Sarah's shadow, how he'd become the successful one, how Victoria appreciated him for who he was, not what he earned. I photographed every page, added it to my evidence. By week 3, I noticed changes in Kara. She avoided eye contact, left early, took calls in private. I brushed it off. She was stressed. We all were. The new client demanded everything. But Rachel caught something I missed. Your assistant met with Marcus yesterday. Lunch at Rosewood Cafe. 90-minute meeting. My stomach dropped. You're sure? Positive. I have photos. I looked at the images. Kara and Marcus, deep conversation. He slid an envelope across the table. She took it. They shook hands. No, not Kara, not possible. I called her immediately. Hey, can you come over tonight? Need to discuss the Morrison account. She hesitated. Tonight I have plans. She'd never refused before, never. Tomorrow then. Another pause. Sure, tomorrow. She was lying. I heard it in her voice. That night I had Rachel follow her. Kara went straight to Marcus's gym, met him in the parking lot. They talked for 20 minutes. He gave her another envelope. She nodded, drove away. I wanted to scream, cry, vomit. Kara had been with me from the beginning. She knew everything. My passwords, my accounts, my strategies, my weaknesses. I'd trusted her with my life. And she'd sold me out. For what? Money. How much was I worth to her? Rachel found out. $50,000. Marcus paid her $50,000 to spy on me, report my movements, my plans, my reactions. Kara fed him everything. Every conversation we had about him, every tear I'd cried in her presence, every strategy I'd shared. She delivered it all to him. The betrayal felt worse than Marcus's. I'd expected nothing from him anymore. But Kara, she was my person, my only real friend. She'd been in my wedding, held me when my father died, celebrated every business victory, and she'd traded it all for $50,000. I didn't confront her, not yet. Instead, I fed her false information. I'm thinking of expanding to Austin, might need to liquidate some assets. She nodded sympathetically. That evening, Rachel caught Marcus calling Victoria. She's moving money, we need to act faster. Perfect. Now I controlled the narrative. Every lie I told Kara reached Marcus within hours. I painted myself as distracted, stressed, vulnerable, making poor decisions. He grew confident, sloppy. He started transferring smaller amounts. $10,000 here, $15,000 there, testing the waters, thinking I wouldn't notice. I noticed everything. I documented everything, and I let him continue. Because the more he took, the deeper his grave became. But then something unexpected happened. My mother called. Her voice sounded wrong, weak. "Honey, I need to see you. It's important." I drove to her house immediately. She'd lost weight. Her skin looked gray. "Mom, what's wrong?" She cried. The doctor found something, pancreatic cancer, stage 4. The world stopped. My mother was my foundation. After Dad died, she'd helped me build my business, watched my office, answered phones. She'd sacrificed everything for me, and now... How long? 6 months, maybe less. I held her, we both cried. Then I pulled myself together. "We'll fight this. Best doctors, best treatment. Money's no object." She smiled sadly. "Baby, some things money can't fix." I refused to believe her. I spent the next week finding specialists, experimental treatments, clinical trials. Everything cost a fortune. I didn't care. But between doctor appointments and treatment research, I was stretched thin, distracted. Exactly what Marcus wanted. He accelerated his timeline. Rachel caught him meeting with Victoria almost daily now, planning their wedding, looking at houses, using my money for down payments. And Kara? She reported every detail of my mother's condition. Every moment I seemed weak or unfocused. They circled like vultures. I needed help, real help. But who could I trust? Sarah handled legal matters, but I needed someone operational. Someone who understood business warfare. Someone who wouldn't betray me. That's when my competitor made her move. Margaret Chen, no relation to my attorney Sarah Chen. Margaret ran the second largest agency in our market. We'd competed for years, publicly professional, privately hostile. She tried to poach my clients twice. I'd blocked her both times. But now she knew. Somehow she knew about Marcus, about my situation. She called me directly. "Sarah, we should talk. I have information you'll want." We met at a neutral location, upscale hotel bar. She arrived in a power suit, designer everything. She slid a folder across the table. "Your husband contacted me 3 weeks ago, wanted to sell me insider information about your company. Client lists, strategies, upcoming pitches. I declined, but I recorded the conversation." She pressed play on her phone. Marcus's voice filled the space. "I can give you everything. Sarah's entire operation, for the right price." Margaret's response. "And why would you betray your wife?" Marcus laughed. "She's not going to be my wife much longer. Might as well profit from the exit." I felt sick, but Margaret wasn't done. "He's approached 3 of your clients directly, told them your company is unstable, that you're having mental health issues. He's trying to tank your reputation before he leaves, make you seem incompetent. So when he takes your money, it looks justified, like he's the stable one who deserves it." My hands clenched. "Why are you telling me this?" She leaned back. Because I don't like cheaters, and because when you destroy him, and you will, I want you to remember who helped you." She paused. "Also, there's a contract I'm bidding on next month. $4 million telecommunications project. If you decide not to bid, I'd appreciate it." "Business, always business. Deal." She smiled, slid another folder over. "Everything I know about his plans, consider it a professional courtesy." I took it. Inside were details even Rachel hadn't found. Financial projections, timelines, Victoria's background check, and something else. "Victoria's working with someone, another man. She's playing your husband the same way he's playing you. She has no intention of marrying him. Once she gets the money, she's disappearing. Her partner's name is Derek. They've run this con 4 times." So everyone was betraying everyone. Perfect. Marcus thought he was conning me. Victoria was conning Marcus. Kara was selling us both out. And Margaret? She was playing chess while we played checkers. But here's what none of them knew. I'd learned from the best. My father taught me before he died. In business, always have a backup plan, and a backup for the backup. I had 17 contingencies prepared. They'd activated 4 of my traps. 13 remained. I drove home that night. Marcus was already there, cooking dinner, playing husband. "Hey babe, how's your mom?" His voice dripped with fake concern. I wanted to stab him with the kitchen knife he was holding. Instead, I smiled. "Hanging in there, thanks for asking." We ate, we talked. He asked about my day. I lied. He lied back. We were a perfect couple built on perfect lies. After dinner, he kissed me goodnight. "Love you," I kissed him back. "Love you too." Then I went to my office, locked the door, and I planned his complete annihilation. But first, I had to deal with Kara, because the enemy inside your walls is always the most dangerous. And tomorrow morning, I'd make my move. But as I plotted my next steps, my phone buzzed. Kara's name flashed on the screen, a text message. "We need to talk, tomorrow morning, before anyone arrives, it's urgent." Had she realized I knew? Was she planning to confess? Or was this another trap? I stared at the message. Read it 5 times. Then I typed back. "Okay, 7 a.m., my office." Her response came immediately. "Come alone." I arrived at 6:45 a.m., 15 minutes early. The office was dark, empty. I made coffee, strong, black. My hands were steady now. I'd spent all night preparing for every scenario. Kara arrived at exactly 7 a.m. She looked terrible. Dark circles, unwashed hair. She avoided my eyes. "Thanks for coming early." Her voice shook. I sat behind my desk, power position. "What's so urgent?" She paced, 3 steps left, 3 steps right. "I need to tell you something before you find out another way." She stopped, looked at me. "Marcus came to me 6 weeks ago. He offered me money, a lot of money, to keep tabs on you." I said nothing, just watched. "I should have told you immediately, I know that, but I was scared. And the money—" "Sarah, I'm drowning. My mom's care facility costs $8,000 a month. I have $40,000 in credit card debt. My car's about to be repossessed. I'm 3 months behind on rent." Tears started. "He offered me $50,000. I took it. I'm so sorry. I'm so fucking sorry." She collapsed into the chair, sobbed, real tears, real guilt, but also real betrayal. "What did you tell him?" She wiped her face. "Everything, your schedule, your meetings, your stress about your mom, your plans. Every conversation we had, I reported back." She looked up. "But I can help you now. I can be a double agent. Feed him false information. I'll tell him whatever you want, please. Let me fix this." I studied her. She meant it. She was genuinely remorseful. But trust, once broken, stays broken. My father taught me that too. "You're fired." Her face went white. "Sarah, please." "You have 2 choices. Walk away quietly with a severance package. Sign an NDA. Never speak to Marcus again. Or I press charges for corporate espionage and theft. You used company resources to spy on me. That's illegal. Your choice." She stood, wobbly. How much severance? $30,000, plus your insurance through the end of the year. She nodded slowly. I'll take it. She moved toward the door, stopped. For what it's worth, I really am sorry. You deserved better from all of us. Then she left. I never saw her again. By 8 a.m., I'd already called HR, processed her termination, changed every password she'd ever had access to, updated security protocols. Then I called Marcus. Casual, light. Hey, coffee tonight. We need to talk about Mom's treatment options. He agreed immediately, too eager. He thought I was breaking, thought I needed his support. Perfect. But first, I had to see my mother. Her second round of chemo had destroyed her. When I arrived at her house, she was in bed, barely conscious. The hospice nurse met me at the door. She's asking for you. It's time to consider comfort care. No, we're not giving up. The nurse's eyes were kind, pitying. Ms. Chen, your mother is suffering. The treatment isn't working. It's only making her final days painful. I pushed past her, sat beside Mom's bed, held her hand. It felt like paper, fragile, breakable. Mom, I'm here. Her eyes opened, cloudy, distant. Baby girl. Her voice was a whisper. Stop fighting, let me go. No, I can't lose you, not now. She squeezed my hand, weak. You're strong enough, you've always been strong enough. She coughed, blood on the tissue. Your father would be so proud, I'm proud. Her breathing slowed. Don't let anger consume you. Win, but don't lose yourself winning. Mom. Promise me. I couldn't speak, just nodded. She smiled, closed her eyes. Good girl. She died 17 hours later. I was holding her hand. The hospice nurse said she waited for me to leave the room. They often do, don't want their loved ones to watch. But I'd come back, some instinct. I'd walked back in just as her breathing changed, sat down, held her, and she left. The world became very quiet after that. Marcus played the supportive husband perfectly. He arranged the funeral, greeted guests, held my hand during the service, gave a beautiful eulogy about a woman he'd barely known. Everyone praised him. You're so lucky to have such a supportive partner. I smiled, nodded, died inside. Victoria sent flowers. Deepest condolences. Signed with a heart. The audacity nearly made me laugh or scream. I couldn't tell which anymore. I took 3 days off work. First time in 8 years. My team managed everything, or so they said. But when I returned, I found problems. The Morrison account, our biggest client, had concerns. We heard about some instability in your personal life. We're considering other options. Marcus's work. He'd been busy during my grief, planting seeds, spreading rumors. I called Morrison's CEO directly. Tom, we've worked together for 4 years. When have I ever let you down? Never, he admitted. But Sarah, if you're going through something. I'm not, my mother died. I took 3 days. That's not instability, that's being human. I paused. Who told you otherwise? Silence, then, I'd rather not say. Was it my husband? More silence, then a sigh. He called me, said you were having a breakdown, that the company was at risk. He suggested we might want to transition our contract elsewhere for our protection. My grip on the phone tightened. And you believed him. I'm calling you, aren't I? I wanted tea. Oh, hear your side. I spent 30 minutes reassuring him, showing stability, strength, competence. By the end, he stayed, but barely. Sarah, I trust you, but if I hear anything else. You won't. I hung up, then I called Rachel. I need to know everyone Marcus has contacted, every client, every vendor, every connection, find them all. She did, the list was extensive. He'd reached out to 7 clients, 3 vendors, 2 investors, all with the same story. Sarah's unstable. Sarah's incompetent. Sarah's company is failing, get out now. He was trying to destroy my reputation before taking my money. Make me seem like I deserve to lose everything. Brilliant, actually. Evil, but brilliant. I had to move faster. But how? I was grieving, exhausted, running on fumes and rage. That's when Margaret called again. I heard about your mother. My condolences. Thank you. I also heard about Marcus's campaign. He's getting aggressive. I'm handling it. She laughed, cold, sharp. Are you? Because from where I'm sitting, you're losing ground. 3 of your clients are nervous, your team's worried, and your husband is painting you as unstable. That narrative is spreading. She was right. I hated that she was right. What do you suggest? Go on offense, stop defending, start attacking. She paused. I have a proposition. Partner with me, temporarily, merge our resources. Show the market you're not just stable, you're expanding, growing, unstoppable. Why would you help me? Because a partnership benefits us both, and because watching you destroy your husband will be entertaining. Her voice softened slightly. Also, I lost my father to cancer last year. I know what you're feeling. The grief makes you vulnerable. Don't let him use that vulnerability against you. I considered it. Margaret was ruthless, self-serving, but she was also right. A partnership would signal strength, stability, growth. It would counter Marcus's narrative completely. What are the terms? We negotiated for 2 hours. Joint ventures on 3 projects, shared resources, combined client pitches. The partnership would last 6 months. After that, we'd reassess. It protected both our interests while presenting a united front. We announced it the next day. Press release, social media, industry publications. 2 powerhouse agencies join forces. The response was immediate. Clients called, excited, impressed. Marcus's narrative crumbled. Instead of a struggling, unstable woman, I became an ambitious empire builder. Marcus called me that afternoon, angry. What the hell are you doing? Partnering with Margaret Chen? She's our competitor. Was our competitor. Now she's our ally. This is good for business. You didn't discuss it with me. Why would I? It's my company. Silence, then. Write your company, I forget sometimes. Good. Let him feel small. Let him remember who actually built this empire. But that night, Rachel called with bad news. Victoria and Marcus are accelerating. They're planning to move next week. He's going to clean out the business account, all of it, then file for divorce. He thinks you're distracted enough not to notice until it's too late. Can we stop the transfer? Legally, yes, you have safeguards. But if you stop it now, he'll know you're onto him. He'll lawyer up, get defensive. You'll lose the element of surprise. She was right. I needed him confident, cocky, making mistakes. Let him take the money. I'll route it to a monitored account. We'll track every penny. Sarah, that's risky. If something goes wrong. Nothing will go wrong. I've planned for this. But something did go wrong. Not with Marcus, with Margaret. 2 days after our partnership announcement, I discovered her real game. She'd used our merger to approach my 3 biggest clients, offered them better rates, better terms, pitched it as working directly with me but through her infrastructure. She was trying to steal my clients while pretending to be my partner. I found out through Tom Morrison. He called me directly. Sarah, I wanted you to hear this from me. Margaret approached us with an interesting offer. She said you 2 were consolidating operations, that our contract would transfer to her agency, but you'd still oversee the work. Is that accurate? No, it absolutely was not. Tom, that's not what we agreed. Our partnership is project-based. Your contract stays with me. If Margaret suggested otherwise, she's misrepresenting our arrangement. He sighed. That's what I thought. Thanks for clarifying. I'll decline her offer. I hung up, called Margaret immediately. What the fuck are you doing? She didn't even pretend innocence. Business, Sarah. You're vulnerable. Your husband's about to rob you blind. Your mother just died. You're distracted. I'm simply positioning myself to catch what falls. We had a deal. And I'm honoring it for now, but deals change. Markets change, you taught me that. She paused. Here's some advice, fix your personal Ife before it destroys your professional one. Marcus is a bigger threat than I am. Focus on him. Let me handle the business side. By stealing my clients. By protecting them from the fallout when your marriage explodes publicly, which it will, soon. Her voice turned almost kind. I'm not your enemy, Sarah. I'm a pragmatist. When you're ready to sell your company, and you will be after all this, I want first option to buy. That's all. She hung up. I stared at my phone. Everyone was playing angles. Everyone had agendas. I was surrounded by sharks, and they smelled blood in the water. That night, I sat in my empty house. Marcus was working late. Translation, with Victoria, my mother was dead. Kara was gone. My clients were nervous. My partner was a vulture. And my husband was planning to rob me within days. I opened a bottle of wine, my mother's favorite. Expensive Bordeaux she'd saved for special occasions. I poured a glass, toasted the empty room. To you, Mom, I promise I'll win, but I might lose myself doing it. Her words echoed in my head. Don't let anger consume you. Too late, the anger was all I had left. The anger kept me moving, planning, fighting. Without it, I'd collapse, so I fed it, nurtured it, let it grow into something cold and focused and unstoppable. My phone buzzed. Rachel. We have a problem, big one. Victoria knows you hired me. Someone tipped her off. She's telling Marcus you're investigating him. He's panicking, moving up his timeline. He's transferring the money tomorrow morning. 9 a.m. My heart stopped. Tomorrow, that's too soon. I'm not ready. Then get ready. Fast. Because if he moves that money and you haven't prepared. I know. I stood, paced, thought. Okay, new plan. We let him take it, but we're ready. I need Sarah Chen at her office tonight. Emergency legal prep. And I need you tracking him every second starting at 6 a.m. Done. I called my attorney, explained everything. She met me at her office at midnight. We worked until 4 a.m., preparing injunctions, freezing orders, criminal complaints, everything I'd need when Marcus made his move. At 6 a.m., I was back home, showered, dressed, professional armor. Marcus woke at 7. You're up early. Big day, client meeting at 8. He smiled, kissed my cheek. Good luck. He had no idea the luck I'd need wouldn't be for the client meeting. At 8:45 a.m., I sat in my office. Rachel texted, "He's at the bank, transferring now." My computer pinged. Account notification. $847,000 withdrawn, business expense, authorized by Marcus Chen. I watched the number drop, felt nothing, no panic, no fear, just cold calculation, because Marcus had just committed wire fraud, theft, financial abuse, and I had every transaction documented. At 9:15 a.m., Sarah Chen filed injunctions with the court. By 10 a.m., every account Marcus had touched was frozen. By 11 a.m., police had been notified. By noon, Marcus realized his perfect plan had just imploded. He called me, frantic. "Sarah, something's wrong with the accounts. I can't access anything. The bank says they're frozen. What's happening?" I leaned back in my chair, smiled. "What's happening, Marcus, is that you just stole $847,000 from me, and now you're going to pay for it." Silence, then, you knew. I've known for 5 weeks. Every message, every plan, every lie. I know about Victoria, about Kara, about everything. I paused. Did you really think I'd be that easy to destroy? He hung up. Within an hour, Victoria called him. Rachel was listening, recording. "What do you mean the money's frozen? Marcus, you promised we had a deal." He tried to calm her. She wasn't having it. "You said this was foolproof. You said your wife was too grief-stricken to notice. You're an idiot." She hung up on him too. By 2 p.m., Marcus showed up at my office. Security stopped him. "I need to see my wife." I came down, faced him in the lobby. "We should talk privately." "No, say whatever you need to say right here." His face was red, desperate. "Sarah, please, this is a misunderstanding. I can explain." "Explain how you plan to steal my money. Explain how you conspired with your mistress. Explain how you tried to destroy my reputation." I stepped closer. "You made one critical mistake, Marcus. You thought grief made me weak, but it made me focused, angry, dangerous." "I'll return the money, all of it. We can forget this happened." "The money's already frozen. You can't return what you can't access. And no, we can't forget. Because the police are involved now. My attorneys filed charges. By tomorrow, this will be public. Everyone will know what you tried to do." His desperation turned to rage. "You vindictive bitch. I gave you years of my life. You gave me nothing but lies. Now get out of my building. You're trespassing." Security escorted him out. I went back to my office, sat down, and finally, I let myself feel it. The victory, but it felt hollow, empty, because yes, I'd stopped him, but the cost. My mother was dead. My best friend had betrayed me. My marriage was destroyed. My reputation was damaged. And my business, it was under attack from Margaret, from nervous clients, from market uncertainty. I'd won the battle, but the war was just beginning. And as I looked at my calendar, at the meetings and pitches and fires to put out, I realized something terrifying. I might lose everything anyway. The scandal broke on Wednesday. Every business publication ran the story. "Marketing CEO's husband arrested for fraud." My phone exploded. Clients, investors, press, everyone wanted a statement. I gave them one. "This is a private matter being handled through proper legal channels. My company remains stable and focused on our clients." But stability was a lie. 2 clients pulled their contracts that week. "Too much drama," they said. Margaret swooped in immediately, signed both. She sent me a text. "Thanks for the referrals." I was drowning, fighting on 3 fronts. Marcus and his legal defense. Victoria, who disappeared but was plotting something. And Margaret, who was circling like a vulture. I needed help. Real help. Not attorneys or investigators. Someone who understood business warfare at this level. That's when I met James. He walked into my office on Thursday. No appointment, just showed up, tall, sharp suit, confident. My assistant tried to stop him. "Sir, you can't just—" "Tell Ms. Chen that James Morrison is here. She'll want to see me." Morrison, Tom Morrison's son. I'd heard about him. Venture capitalist. Built 3 companies from nothing. Sold them for millions. He was a legend in our industry, and he was standing in my lobby. I came out. "Mr. Morrison, this is unexpected." He smiled, warm, genuine. "I apologize for the intrusion. My father told me about your situation. I wanted to help." We talked in my office. He was direct. "You're talented, your company's solid, but you're under siege. Marcus damaged your reputation. Margaret's stealing your clients. You need a reset." He leaned forward. "I want to invest. $5 million for 30% equity. We restructure, rebrand. Show the market you're not just surviving, you're evolving." "Why would you invest now? I'm a liability." "You're a fighter. I invest in fighters." He pulled out a folder. "I've done my research. Your revenue's grown 40% year over year for 5 years. Your client retention is 92%. That's exceptional. One bad husband doesn't change those fundamentals." I studied him. He wasn't offering charity. This was business. Smart business. "What's your real angle?" He laughed. "Honestly, Margaret Chen tried to recruit me last month. Wanted me to invest in her agency instead. I declined. She's ruthless but short-sighted. You're ruthless and strategic. I prefer strategic." We negotiated for 3 hours. He knew his numbers, knew the market, knew my worth. By evening, we had a deal. $5 million investment. He'd take an advisory role, help rebuild client confidence, leverage his network. In return, 30% equity and a board seat. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt cautious. Everyone wanted something. What did James really want? But I didn't have time for paranoia. Marcus's trial was starting. His attorney was aggressive, claimed I'd trapped him, that the money was marital property, that I'd orchestrated everything to look like theft. The media ate it up. Scorned wife or master manipulator. Victoria surfaced during the trial. She testified for Marcus. Claimed she'd had no idea he was married, that he'd deceived her too. She played the victim perfectly, cried on the stand. The jury looked sympathetic. My attorney, Sarah Chen, destroyed her on cross-examination. Ms. Victoria, you texted Mr. Chen on March 15th. Make sure you get at least half. You've supported her career for years. Does that sound like someone who didn't know he was married? Victoria paled. He told me he was separated. But you knew about the money. His wife's money. You helped plan the theft. No, I loved him. The jury stopped looking sympathetic, but Victoria wasn't done. After her testimony, she called me. Private number, I answered. What do you want? Her voice was cold, sweet. To talk, woman to woman, you won, Sarah. Marcus is going to prison. You kept your money. Can't we just move on? Why are you really calling? She laughed, soft, dangerous. Because you're not the only one who plans ahead. I recorded everything. Every conversation with Marcus, every plan, every detail. And I'm selling those recordings to the highest bidder. Maybe TMZ. Maybe your competitors. Maybe I'll just post them online. My stomach dropped. That's extortion. That's business. Marcus taught me well. She paused. But I'm reasonable. Pay me $200,000 and the recordings disappear. You have 48 hours. She hung up. I immediately called Rachel. Victoria has recordings. She's blackmailing me. Rachel was quiet for a moment. Let me hand. This. Don't pay her anything yet. What are you going to do? Fine leverage. Everyone has secrets, even con artists. Rachel worked fast. Within 24 hours, she found Victoria's partner, Derek. He was still running cons, currently scamming a widow in Phoenix. Rachel contacted him directly. Your partner's about to expose your operation. Might want to have a conversation with her. Derek called Victoria. They fought. Loud, public, at a restaurant. Rachel recorded everything. Then she sent Victoria a message. Drop the blackmail or Derek goes to prison in Arizona, and I'll make sure they know you were involved. Victoria went silent. The recordings never surfaced, but the threat remained. She was out there, waiting, planning. Meanwhile, Margaret made her move. She approached my 3 remaining major clients, not with better rates this time, with a merger proposal. Sarah's company is unstable. Partner with me. I'll honor her contracts. She can even stay on as a consultant, but I'll own the relationships. 2 clients considered it. Tom Morrison shut her down immediately. Margaret, I've known Sarah for years. One crisis doesn't erase that. Back off. But the other 2 wavered. I met with them personally. Brought James. His presence changed everything. Gentlemen, I just invested $5 million in Sarah's company. Do I seem worried about stability? They stayed. Barely. James became my anchor. He attended meetings, made introductions, brought in new clients. We worked 16-hour days together, strategy sessions, pitch preparations, damage control. He was brilliant, focused. And surprisingly, he never hit on me, never pushed boundaries, just worked. One late night, over takeout in my office, I asked him, "Why are you really doing this? This is way more than an investment for you." He set down his food. My ex-wife cheated on me, took half my first company, I built it back. Alone, it nearly destroyed me. He looked at me. I see you fighting the same battle. I want you to win, because I know what losing costs. I understood him then. We were both survivors. both fighters, both too damaged to be anything but allies. But I was starting to feel something else, something dangerous. Attraction, respect, maybe more. I pushed it down. I didn't have time for feelings, not now. Marcus's trial ended on a Friday. Guilty. All charges, 3 years minimum. The judge was harsh. Mr. Chen, you didn't just steal money, you betrayed trust, weaponized grief, attempted to destroy your wife's livelihood. This court finds your actions reprehensible. Marcus looked at me as they took him away. Not with anger, with disbelief. Like he still couldn't understand how he'd lost. I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no relief, just emptiness. Victoria tried one more play. She leaked a story to a tabloid. Marcus Chen's mistress speaks out, the real story. It was full of lies, claims that I'd abused Marcus, controlled him financially, driven him to desperate measures. The article painted me as a villain. James handled it. He had connections. By Monday, the tabloid retracted the story, issued an apology. Victoria threatened to sue. James's attorneys buried her in paperwork. She disappeared again. For good this time, I hoped. But then Margaret struck her final blow. She approached my investors directly, the ones who'd backed my company in the early years. Sarah's stretched too thin, personal drama, legal battles. Her focus is split. Now's the time to exit. I'll buy your shares at a premium. 2 investors called me, concerned. Sarah, we believe in you, but Margaret's offer is generous, and frankly, the risk right now. I couldn't lose my investors. Without them, the company structure collapsed. I called an emergency board meeting. James, Sarah Chen, my remaining investors, I pitched them hard. Yes, I've faced challenges, but look at the numbers. Revenue's up 12% this quarter. We've signed 3 new clients. The partnership with James is working. Margaret's trying to scare you into selling. Don't let her. The vote was close. 3-2, they stayed, but barely. And I knew Margaret wouldn't stop. She was patient, strategic, waiting for my next mistake. That night, James and I had drinks, celebrating the small victory. He looked at me across the table. You're exhausted. I'm fine. You're not. When's the last time you slept more than 4 hours? I couldn't remember. Sleep is a luxury right now. He reached across the table, took my hand. Sarah, you're winning, but you're burning out. You need to pace yourself. This is a marathon, not a sprint. His hand was warm, steady. I wanted to pull away, I didn't. I can't slow down, not yet. Margaret's waiting for weakness. Marcus's appeal is coming. Victoria might resurface. I have to stay sharp. Then let me help more. Delegate, trust me. I looked at him, really looked. He meant it. He wanted to help, not for profit, not for equity, just because. Why do you care this much? He smiled, sad, knowing. Because you remind me of who I used to be before I got too cynical, too calculated. You're still fighting like the outcome matters, like there's something worth saving. I admire that. We stayed until the bar closed, talking, laughing. For a few hours, I forgot about Marcus. Margaret, Victoria, I just existed. It felt dangerous, beautiful, terrifying. When he dropped me home, he walked me to the door. Good night, Sarah. Good night, James. He turned to leave. I grabbed his arm. Wait! He looked back. I kissed him, soft, brief, then pulled away. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. He kissed me back, deeper, longer. When we broke apart, he smiled. Don't apologize, just, let's take this slow. You've got enough complicated in your life. I nodded, watched him leave, went inside. And for the first time in months, I slept well. But the peace didn't last. At 3 a.m., my phone rang, Rachel. We have a problem. Margaret just filed a lawsuit. She's claiming you stole proprietary information during your partnership. Client lists, strategies. She wants $3 million in damages. I sat up, heart pounding. That's insane. We shared information as partners. She's claiming you exceeded the scope. Used her intel to poach clients. It's bullshit, but it'll tie you up in court for months. Cost a fortune to fight. This was it, Margaret's endgame. She couldn't beat me in the market, so she'd drown me in legal fees, bleed me dry, force me to sell. I hung up, stood in my dark house, looked at my reflection in the window. I looked like a ghost, thin, pale, exhausted, but my eyes were still hard, still fighting. Margaret wanted war. Fine, I'd give her war, because I'd learned something these past months. I wasn't just fighting for my company anymore. I was fighting for myself, my identity, my right to exist in a world that kept trying to destroy me. And I would win, whatever it took, however long it took, I would win. The question was, would there be anything left of me when I did? Margaret's lawsuit was aggressive, 50 pages of accusations. She claimed I'd stolen client contact lists during our partnership, used her proprietary pitch strategies, violated non-compete clauses that didn't exist. It was fiction, but expensive fiction. My attorney estimated $400,000 in legal fees to fight it. I didn't have time to fight it, or money to waste on it, so I did what Margaret didn't expect. I went on offense. James and I spent 3 days building a case, not against Margaret's lawsuit, against Margaret herself. We dug into her business practices, her contracts, her client relationships, and we found gold. She'd been billing clients for services never rendered, inflating hours, double charging expenses, small amounts, spread across dozens of clients over years, but together, over $2 million in fraud. I called her directly. We need to meet. She laughed. To settle, Sarah, I'm not interested in. To show you what I found. I paused. Your office tomorrow, 10 a.m., come alone. Silence, then, fine. I arrived with James and Sarah Chen. Margaret sat behind her desk, confident, smug. Let's make this quick. What's your settlement offer? I slid a folder across her desk. That's not a settlement, that's evidence. You've been defrauding your clients for 3 years. I have documentation, testimony from former employees, bank records, everything. Her face went white. She opened the folder, flipped through pages. Her hands shook slightly. Where did you get this? Doesn't matter. What matters is what I do with it. I leaned forward. Drop the lawsuit today, publicly apologize for the accusations, and we never speak again, or I take this to the state attorney general. Your clients, the media, your company implodes. You face criminal charges, your choice. She stared at me, calculating, weighing options. Finally, you're bluffing. James spoke for the first time. Try us. I have the attorney general's direct number. Sarah gives the word, I make the call. Your entire empire crumbles by lunch. Margaret's jaw clenched. She looked at me with pure hatred. You ruthless bitch. I smiled. You taught me well. I stood. You have until 5 p.m. After that, the offer expires. We left. By 3 p.m., her attorney called mine. The lawsuit was withdrawn. By 4 p.m., she issued a public statement. After further review, the claims against Ms. Chen's company were unfounded. We apologize for any confusion. It was corporate speak for surrender. I felt nothing. No triumph. No satisfaction, just exhaustion. But Margaret was neutralized. One enemy down. Victoria resurfaced 2 weeks later. Not with blackmail this time, with something worse. She'd partnered with a journalist, sold her story, a full exposé. The marriage I destroyed, a mistress's confession. It was scheduled to publish in a major outlet, sympathetic angle. Poor Victoria, manipulated by evil Marcus, caught in the crossfire of vindictive Sarah. Rachel called me, T midnight. The article drops in 6 hours. It's bad, Sarah. She's reframed the entire narrative. Makes you look like a calculating villain who destroyed 2 people in love. Can we stop it? Not legally. It's protected speech. I hung up, sat in darkness, thought. Then I called the journalist directly, found her number through contacts. She answered, surprised. Ms. Chen, I wasn't expecting. I want to give you the real story, the one Victoria didn't tell you. We talked for 2 hours. I gave her everything. The recordings of Victoria and Derek's previous cons, police reports from their victims, evidence that Victoria had targeted Marcus deliberately, that she'd done this before, to 3 other men. I gave her bank records showing Victoria's pattern. Find wealthy man, seduce, steal, disappear, repeat. The journalist was silent for a long moment. Why didn't you release this before? Because I wanted her gone, not famous. But if she's going to tell her story, the world deserves the truth. The article that published was very different. The con artist behind the scandal, Victoria's pattern of deception. It destroyed her. Within days, 2 of her previous victims came forward, filed charges. Victoria was arrested in Nevada, extradited to face fraud charges in 3 states. Marcus heard about it in prison. He wrote me a letter. I almost didn't open it, but curiosity won. Sarah, I'm sorry. I know that means nothing now, but I want you to know I was the fool. Victoria played me. You tried to warn me once years ago about people who only want what we have. I didn't listen. I thought I was smarter than you. I wasn't. I hope you find happiness. You deserve it. M. I burned the letter. He didn't get to apologize and feel better. He didn't get closure. He got 3 years in prison and a ruined reputation. That was his closure. My company stabilized. The new clients James brought in were solid, long-term contracts. Major brands, by quarter's end, we'd grown 28%. Biggest growth in company history. The board was thrilled. My investors stopped calling nervously. The market narrative shifted. Sarah Chen, rising from the ashes. James and I grew closer. Slowly, carefully. We took things at my pace, dinner once a week, then twice, movies, long walks. Conversations that lasted until dawn. He never pushed, never demanded, just existed beside me, supporting, steady. One night, 6 months after everything started, we sat on my balcony, wine in hand, city lights below. I think I'm falling in love with you, I said. Not romantic, just factual. He smiled. I know, I've been waiting for you to realize it. Doesn't that scare you? I'm a mess. I'm damaged. I destroy things. You survived things. There's a difference. He took my hand. And you didn't destroy anything. You rebuilt. There's strength in that. I kissed him, long, deep. For the first time in a year, I felt something besides rage. Hope, small, fragile, but real. We didn't rush into anything. I wasn't ready for that. Maybe I'd never be ready. But having him there, in my corner, made the world feel less hostile, less lonely. My company continued growing. We expanded to 2 new cities, hired 40 new employees, signed a $6 million contract with a Fortune 500 company. The press called me a phoenix, a survivor, a success story. They didn't know the cost. The nights I couldn't sleep, the therapy sessions, the moments I still felt like I was drowning. But I kept moving forward, because that's what survivors do. We don't stop. We can't. Stopping means thinking, thinking means feeling, feeling means breaking. So we move, always forward. A year after Marcus's arrest, I attended a conference. Major industry event. I was keynote speaker. Topic: building resilience in business and life. Ironic. I walked on stage, looked at 500 faces, and I told them a version of my story, not the whole truth. Never that, but enough. 18 months ago, I almost lost everything. My mother died. My marriage imploded. My company was under attack. I had every reason to quit, to sell, to disappear. I paused. But I didn't, because I realized something. The people who tried to destroy me, they didn't know who I really was. They saw weakness where there was strategy, grief where there was focus. They mistook my humanity for vulnerability. Their mistake, not mine. The room was silent. Then applause, standing ovation. After, dozens of people approached me, shared their stories, their struggles, their fights. I realized I wasn't alone. We were all fighting invisible wars, all surviving impossible situations, all pretending we were fine while we bled internally. That night, James and I had dinner, celebrated the speech, the success, everything. "I'm proud of you," he said. "For what? Surviving." "For thriving. There's a difference." He was right. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was building something new, better, stronger. My company was worth $15 million now. Trip. What it was before. I had influence, power, respect. Everything Marcus tried to take from me, I'd multiplied. But the cost lingered. I'd lost my mother, my best friend, years of my life to stress and battle. I'd become harder, colder, more calculating. Sometimes I wondered if the woman I'd become was someone my mother would recognize, would like. I visited her grave often, talked to her, told her about victories. Losses, James, she never answered, but I felt her there, proud, worried, loving. "I kept my promise, Mom," I whispered one afternoon. "I won, but I didn't lose myself, not completely." I wasn't sure if that was true, but I wanted it to be. I needed it to be. Marcus got out of prison after 18 months. Good behavior, he didn't contact me, didn't try. He moved to another state, found work in sales, low level, quiet life. He'd learned his lesson, too late but learned. Victoria served 2 years, multiple counts of fraud. When she got out, she disappeared. New name, new city, new victims, probably. Some people never change. Margaret's company struggled after the scandal. Clients left. Revenue dropped. She eventually sold to a larger firm. Took a consulting role. We never spoke again. But I heard she told people I'd ruined her. Good. Let her believe that. Let everyone who underestimated me believe that. 2 years after everything began, James proposed. Simple ring. Quiet moment. No grand gesture, just him, me, truth. "I don't need an answer now," he said. "But I want you to know I'm here for whatever you need, however long it takes." I didn't answer immediately. I thought about marriage, about trust, about risk. Could I do it again? Could I let someone that close? The old Sarah would have said no, would have protected herself, built walls, but the new Sarah. "Yes," I said, "but slowly and on my terms." He laughed, kissed me. I wouldn't expect anything else. We set a date, 2 years out, plenty of time to be sure, to heal, to build something real, no rushing, no pressure. Just 2 damaged people choosing to try again. My company hit $20 million revenue last quarter. I'm considering acquisition offers, not because I need the money, because I want the freedom, to build something new, to rest, to live. I think about Marcus sometimes. Wonder if he thinks about me, if he regrets his choices. Probably not. Narcissists rarely do, but I hope he remembers. Remembers what it cost to underestimate me, what it cost to mistake kindness for weakness. I hope every person who ever doubted me remembers. Because I'm not the woman I was. I'm not soft anymore, not trusting, not naive. I'm steel wrapped in silk, beautiful but dangerous, approachable but untouchable. I learned the rules of this game, and I won, not perfectly, not cleanly, but definitively. So if you're reading this, facing your own battle, your own betrayal, your own impossible fight, here's what I'll tell you. Don't be the victim, be the strategist. Don't react. Plan, don't break, bend. And when they think you're down, when they've counted you out, when they're celebrating your defeat, that's when you strike. That's when you show them who you really are. Because survival isn't enough. Not anymore. Survival is the baseline. Thriving is the goal. And revenge is just ensuring they never forget the cost of crossing you. I've thrived, I've avenged, and now I'm finally ready to live, on my terms, in my way, with my power intact. The war is over. I won. And that victory tastes sweeter than anything Marcus, Victoria, or Margaret could ever steal from me. What would you do if someone tried to take everything from you? How would you fight back? Share your story. You're not alone in this battle.